All right, guys, today we got a 2006 Toyota Camry with a 6-cylinder in it. Client states that it's got a hesitation when he goes to take off. Hits the gas pedal, just doesn't want to go. Let's get into it. Let's see what this thing is doing. Says it hesitates, he hits the gas pedal, just doesn't want to go. Kind of reminds me of an old school accelerator pump, for those of you old enough to remember that. But, so, if we watch, I'm going to hit the gas pedal. And let's see how long it takes me to hit the gas pedal before it starts to go. Oh, wow. Okay. So, that's like a good, I mean, that's a solid inch, maybe more than that. I mean, that's almost half the pedal. That's almost half the pedal travel to get that thing to even move. So I could see where if you're driving down the road and you went to accelerate, you'd be like pushing the pedal, pushing the pedal, pushing the pedal, and all of a sudden it'd probably go. Let's go ahead and see what kind of codes we got. We do have, looks like quite a few codes in the engine control module. All right, we got lean codes, we got evap, purge codes. So a current code is system to link bank 2, pending on bank 1, pending on bank 2, and then a whole bunch of pending codes on our evap system. Vent control, purge is incorrect, and those could maybe be part of our lean problem. This does not feel like it is that pedal not moving, not gonna get caught up in, we got a lean code in this thing, we got some pending lean codes. That pedal is not doing anything. That is not a lean problem. So don't get caught up in the, we're gonna go down this lean problem. We will look at that, but that's not what this pedal is. This pedal is either, for me, I'm going to two things. Throttle position sensor, you know, for some reason it's not reading correctly. I think we would get a code for that. Or pedal position sensor is not reading correctly. Because those are two things that, like, if I think accelerator pump, old school accelerator pump, and now I'm thinking, you know, modern vehicle, those are the things that I kind of go with accelerator pump. So, and I guess that's just the way my mind works on this kind of stuff. But that's a lot of pedal travel with absolutely nothing happening. I mean, that's almost like back when we had the cable, you know, when we had a Bowden cable going out to the throttle body, and the cable itself was stretched or something was wrong with that or out of adjustment. You know, you'd hit the gas pedal and the thing would move all over the place, but the cable wasn't physically moving. That's what this almost feels like. Now, obviously, we know that this pedal is not connected to anything. It's going to all be electronic. This is a 2000, actually, this is a 2006, 7-ish era. Let's be sure I'm not saying something wrong here. Yeah, no cable. All electronic right here. So that's our throttle. That's our throttle body motor right there. Well, before we get into the scan, we got interrupted.
Sorry.
You know, walking in here like, hey.
I want to know about your top touch.
Oh, by the way, speaking of that top, while we're going to interrupt this video for a public service thank you. Whoever, I cannot remember who said something, but somebody made a comment on one of our videos to get it down from up there and put it where I could use it. Had Luis make me a little stand right here. This was a fantastic idea. Thank you for whoever came up with that idea and posted that, because this is now usable and I don't have to worry about trying to step up 14 steps to get on top of it. So thank you. Let's jump into our engine control module here. And we're going to need to be on the enhanced side to see those things, I'm sure. We're going to go on the enhanced side anyway. Let's go into our data stream. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's do accelerator learn value, accelerator position 1, accelerator position 2. I'm not going to do our lean conditions in this side. I'm going to do the lean conditions in the OBD side, just because that's just how I like doing it. All right, let's see here. I'm looking for our anything throttle body at this point. All right, throttle learn value, throttle idle position, throttle motor. All right, all these, I want these, all these throttle ones. All right, so that's our throttle position 2. All right, cool. Hit OK. And then let's graph them. All right, so what we want to look at is we want to look at our accelerator pedal is going to be our input. Accelerator pedal number 2. So we got position 1 and position 2. When we're not running, when the engine's not running, don't think that you're going to hit that accelerator pedal, put it to the floor, and the throttle body's going to open all the way up. It very likely will not. It may not even do that when the engine's running. When you're putting that accelerator pedal, the thing about these cars, when it's throttle by wire, when you hit the accelerator pedal, you are requesting full throttle. That does not mean that the engine computer is going to give you wide open throttle. So just be aware of that. You may have to look up, the description and operation. Do not put your hand inside that throttle body. I don't care what. Just don't put your hand in there. Don't go put your hand in there and open it up and all that, because if that bad boy tries to slam shut, that's going to be a world of hurt for you. So just don't stick your fingers in there. It's not like old school where you could open it up and look at it and all this kind of stuff. A lot of guys will just tell you don't do that when the key's on, but it's okay with the key off. I would just tell you it's good practice. Just don't put your fingers in there. So the accelerator pedal, if we push it to the floor, these things should move and should give us a pretty linear graph here. So I'm just going to start pushing on the gas pedal, and as I'm pushing on the gas pedal, we're going to watch the accelerator pedal position centers, not the throttle body, not the throttle stuff yet. So here we go. So I'm pushing, and then it went. All right, that was awfully slow. Okay, we've got a lot of data here, and that did not move fast enough for me. That could be, all right, so if we notice, let's do it again. So I'm going to push, still no movement on the throttle, and then it popped up. But here's the thing. That right there, we would say I had to move that thing an awful lot to get it to move. But I've got, how many PIDs on here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 12 PIDs on here. And this is an older vehicle. This could even have an effect on a newer vehicle. We may have too many data PIDs on here for this thing to read fast. Really, the way we would really do this was with the scope, hook a scope up to it, and put my throttle down, and we'd be able to see immediately if this thing moves or not. But let's try to do it with data stream. Let's go back out, and here's what I'm going to do is we're going to unselect them all, and we're just going to take the 2 accelerator pedals, because I just need to see if the accelerator pedals are moving at the right time, then we can move on from that and move into the throttle body, because throttle bodies on these things are pretty common throttle body issues. All right, so here we go. Push, and that thing kind of jumped up way faster that time. Way faster. It's moving right there. Not coming back down to where it was. Oh, now that was interesting. Push. All right, that is really interesting. Look at our, oh man, I have no way of marking this one up on this scanner. Hold on, we need to get a maintainer on this vehicle. Let's pause this for a second. Got the maintainer on it. Should have put the maintainer on it to begin with. My bad. All right, here's what I'm looking at on this thing. When I did the accelerator pedal, and the reason I should have put the maintainer on it, but the reason I want to put the maintainer on it is because I saw a voltage deviation in the accelerator pedal, in accelerator pedal number 1. And it's important to look at these small things. When it comes to accelerator pedals, we had a Mercedes, on one of our very first videos that we ever did, we had a Mercedes that accelerator pedal position sensor was like moving it minutely above its maximum. I mean, so small, and it was causing major issues. This one, let's look at this data. You can see it almost on the screen right now where you got the little raised spots. Look at accelerator pedal position number 1. It's sitting at 0.44, right? The other one's at 1.2. Okay, we're going to focus on number 1. I'm going to accelerate up. So there we go, right? And then I'm just going to slowly come back down. I'm not going to let it pop back down. It doesn't matter how slowly I come back down. That thing should go all the way back down to where it originally sits, which was 0.44. And there's 0.46. Okay, now watch this. I'm going to go up, popped it down. 0.44. You can actually see it in the graph, the difference. Let's go up slowly. Let's come back down. Nice and slow. Notice how the accelerator pedal number 2 is returning back to normal. 0.46. Okay. People may look at that and go, that's just a tiny bit. I don't disagree with you. But it's different, right? The accelerator pedal, this is the way you have to think about this. This is a way engineered for safety system. This is your throttle control, right? And the reason there's 2 sensors on both the accelerator pedal and on the throttle body is because it's comparing those 2 sensors to see where they're at. Notice that the voltages are different. Where they start is different, and where they end is going to be different. They're looking for those things to match really like dead on the money, right? To know that the engine computer is in control. The fact that accelerator pedal number 1, position sensor number 1, doesn't come back down to where it was, but 2 does, it's a minute amount, but we need to look up the spec on this thing. First of all, I have an issue right now, right? It's not coming back down to where it's supposed to be, okay? I'm going to look up the spec, and we're going to see. We might find this thing is way out of spec, right? Or somewhat out of spec, or who knows? It could be in spec. I don't know. But we've got a problem right now. We know we have a problem right now because I don't care what you do. I don't care how softly you come back off of that pedal. That thing should return back to where it started every single time. Let's look up the spec on these accelerator pedal sensors. Took me a few minutes to find the specs on this APP, or these APPs. Everything in all data showed APP specifications, showed 1 spec from like 0.6 to 1.0, makes no sense. And in all data, actually, you went to APP spec and it showed you throttle body spec, which that still doesn't make sense to me because even a throttle position sensor, there's 2 of them, so they're not going to be the same. Went into into Pro Demand, Mitchell, same thing, showed that same data, same information. So I jumped into Identifix because a lot of times they'll actually have, in the test plans, they'll show like factory stuff. And it showed us these specs. So sensor 1 on the accelerator pedal is 0.5 volts. This is released. Your foot not on the gas, on the accelerator pedal. 0.5 volts to 1.1. So we are already too low on that, right? We're already too low on that. Fully open, if we push it all the way to the floor, it says 2.6 to 4.5. We're okay there. So at the high end, we're fine. At the low end, we're not. And where do we care about right now? We care about the low end because that's where we're having the problem. So now let's go to accelerator pedal position sensor number 2. It says it should be at 1.2 to 2.0 volts. So 1.2 is the minimum, right? And it should go up to 2.2. We're at 1.12. So if we push it all the way to the floor, we're well within spec again. So again, at the high end, fine. At the low end, even on accelerator pedal number 2, we have an issue. So, and here's what we have got, since it's low voltage, right, going into this, on both of those, right, we are not going to have a ground issue. I'm going to look at the wiring diagram on these things because if it's got usually what accelerator pedal, there's 2 different sensors. Usually they have 2 5-volt references, 2 grounds, and then 2 sensor signals. So they are completely, 2 separate sensors inside one housing. If this shows that it's got 1 5-volt reference to it, if that 5-volt reference is somehow a little low, bad connection, we've run into several of those recently, bad connection or something like that, that could lead to low voltage. If we had a bad ground, the voltage would be high, so it would be raised. So this isn't going to be a ground issue, but I'm going to, if this thing's got two 5-volt references, two grounds, two signals, we don't have a voltage issue at that point. We've got a sensor issue. So let's look at the wiring diagram real quick and let's see what we've got going into these sensors. All right, here's our wiring diagram for the accelerator pedal, for the whole powertrain control module. And we have two completely separate sensors. So here is there's our accelerator pedal positions sensor. That's going to be on the accelerator pedal. It's probably going to be the accelerator pedal, I would imagine, usually how they come. So we can see that there are if we come up, we have 3 circuits here. Looks like a normal, like a throttle position sensor, right? And because it essentially is just down on the accelerator pedal. And then you see we have 3 more. If we follow those up, so let me clear that out. Let's see if I can't get this thing to highlight. So if we follow these up, so the center ones are going to be our sensor return, or a sensor signal, so we don't care about that. We know those aren't going to be connected. But let's look at that one. All right, that one goes straight in, and that one goes straight in. They don't connect to anything else. They are dedicated. And then we go to this one, straight into the engine control module again, and then we go to, if I can get the green one to highlight, there we go, and it is straight into the engine control module. None of those in any way, shape, or form are connected to anything else on the, there's no, those are 2 separate sensors. Yeah, they're in one unit, but they're 2 completely separate sensors. So we're not looking at a voltage issue. If we were looking at a voltage issue, maybe we'd be looking at a voltage issue from the engine control module. We're talking about some crazy stuff. We can jump, let's look down there real fast. I mean, I don't need a scope for this. This is something you can take a meter on, and we can just see, do we have our 5-volt reference going to, if either one of them has a 5-volt reference, then we are fine. So we'll just jump down there real fast. We'll just be 100% sure. So let's grab some meter. Let's grab probably going to need a back probe here, I would imagine. I mean, I have no idea what I'm getting into. This thing might be sealed tight for all I know. All right, so let's, we're going to need to get a good ground. Where are we going to go ground to? To our battery. So my go-to on that is going to be my power probe. My power probe's not there. Why is my power probe not there? Okay. All right, well, what's up, Cook? This is Lil Cook's birthday today. 13 years old today. And there's the typical teenager response for that. All right. Y'all leave a comment down there. Say happy birthday to Lil Cook. All right. We'll go straight to that. That'll give us a good ground here, jumper lead. Let's see what we're going to actually be up against under here. Let me take a look. I got to get that was not smart of me. I need to get something for that. See what we got here. I don't know. I don't know if you can get in there or not. Put the seat back. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. We got this cord in the way. All right, so here's our pedal. That's a big old metal pedal. Usually these things are plastic. Oh, this is old school. This is old school. I mean, look at this. Here's our sensor. Right there. All right, so this sensor actually is, let me see, does it have yeah, this sensor's got 2 bolts in it. Well, it's going to be easy to get to the wiring anyway. All right. I'm just looking for one wire with a 5-volt reference on it. I'm going to go to that red one right there, but I need to get something. To be honest with you, I've never had to deal with one of those. That's a different one for me. I've never seen one with a sensor that is separate from the pedal assembly. All right. Let's go ahead and put this here. This is, there we go. 5 volt, there we go. We're good. All right. And we don't have to go anywhere else with that because, like I say, we know it's a low power output issue, which means that the only way it's going to be that is if we have low power going in. All right. This thing's going to need a sensor in there. We're going to try to find a sensor for this thing. Let's see if we can't get a sensor, get authorization. Got the new part in. Another Dorman. I'm not saying anything bad about Dorman. They've got a bad reputation with some things. Some things they're really good at. Electrical kind of sometimes worries me, but when you're dealing with older vehicles, sometimes it's your only option. So at least they offer it. So here is the.
Had it in stock.
Yeah, and it was in stock here in town. So save a trip to the store. Just call them if you have a problem. All right, and I have heard that their tech supports. They're trying to work on stuff. So all right, there it is. So pretty simple looking thing. It is adjustable. So we're going to have to set this right. So we'll use the scanner for that. That's no big deal. All right, got my. And Sherwood is going to try to get in here and be right where I need to be. And he doesn't understand that it just makes it really difficult to do the job. Okay. Move that out of the way. There we go. All right, let's see what we got here. And I cannot see that one. There we go.
Harder to work on cars when you're fighting through a camera, huh?
It is a lot harder to work on cars when the camera is trying to take up valuable real estate where you're trying to be. But we got to do it. Pow. Okay. That bottom one. I'll tell you another thing. I feel like my rib cage didn't hurt as much back when I was younger when I was leaning up against these door sills. Let's see how this goes when it goes. Okay. All right, just gonna go in there like that. I did see when I was poking around looking for the specifications on this that there was a bulletin. Do not put any lubrication or anything on this, it says. It says if lubrication is applied, the sensor will need to be replaced. So clearly they've had some kind of an issue with that. All right then. All right, y'all about to get kicked out of the way. I gotta get in there, Sherwood. Looks like there's a ton of movement, but there is the tiniest bit. So we're gonna just snug it down and see. If it needs to be adjusted, we'll come back and we'll loosen it up. Okay. After what seems like 100 interruptions, we're ready to go. Let's look at I thought when we moved over here, we'd get a little less of those, but it is what it is. We've got business to do. So remember 0.5 to 1.1 on sensor 1, 1.2 to 2.0 on sensor 2. Let's look at our data real quick. 0.76, 1.5, well within spec. But the reality is we need to know, is this thing going to rev up? So let's start it up. And go to good idle. And ooh, that does rev up good. Hang on. Let me go slow though. Let me go slow with my gas pedal. Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to respond. That's me, I mean, that's me just barely even touching it. Barely touching it. Yeah. So let me push it down to what I would feel like is about where it would start revving up before. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. All right. That's that part of it. Now we got to see about the lien code. If the man wants us to take care of that, we're going to talk to him and see if he wants us to take care of that. And if so, we may come back and do that, or we'll see what he wants to do though, because he kind of, I think he works on himself a little bit. So, but as far as this goes, we're fixed. We got a good. This is a remote for our exhaust extraction, by the way. I should have turned that on while the engine was running. This part of it's fixed. The accelerator's good. Everything's great there. You can see how that little tiny bit of accelerator pedal being off. And like I say, go back through the videos and find that one for the Mercedes. That was a while ago. It was me and Andy actually did that one. You'll link it. It was off just a little tiny bit. And I can't remember exactly what the car did, but I know it was a really tiny bit. These things, limp mode. Oh, when he accelerated hard, it would go into limp mode, wouldn't it? Yeah. So these sensors are really touchy, and imagine they have to be, because if it loses control of that system, the throttle could run away and do all kind of weird stuff. So this is something to be aware of, and just make sure you're looking at the details on these things. So appreciate you guys watching this one. If you liked it, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Getting close to 200,000. Going to do a giveaway at 200K. So we're getting really close there. You guys are really doing great with that. So keep that up for us. Hit that bell notification and leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one.